I'm cheating a little bit today because this is actually in my back shade garden. But I wanted to show you something that I'm new enough to the area that I haven't found any local clumps, but I'm sure they're out there somewhere. And once I know where they are, I probably won't share their location because these are the Ostrich Fern coming up out of the ground. And this stage is called the fiddlehead stage. And the fun thing about the fiddlehead stage, so all ferns have a fiddlehead stage where it's all coiled up in these fun little turns, but the fun thing about the ostrich fern fiddlehead stage is that it's edible. It's kind of like asparagus, spinach, broccoli when you steam it, and I love them. So I have one clump that is there's one little fiddlehead that's actually just getting to the point. So if you were going to eat this, some identifying characteristics of this ostrich fern is that it's that green, it's got a groove right there, and all of the fiddleheads are going to have some sort of little covering, and the ostrich fern covering is pretty papery. So this brown stuff that covers it is when it's dry. Right now it's wet, but when it's dry, it's papery. A lot of other ferns, it's going to be fuzzy. And if it's fuzzy, then it's not an edible ostrich fern fiddlehead. If you do find these, they're usually, each plant has about 6 of the fiddleheads that are going to unfurl into the fern fronds, and you never want to harvest them all from each clump. So ideally, you'll find a whole bunch of these in an area, gather enough to fill up your frying pan and saute them and eat them. But if there aren't many in an area, just leave them be. And don't harvest them. You won't get much of a meal from them anyway, and you don't want to damage the local population. But if you find them where there's thousands in an area, go to town. Pick some, again, not all of the ones out of each clump, but you harvest them maybe as a funny little treat. I'm gonna take like 3 out of my garden because I have about maybe 8 plants growing back here. Each year I get a couple more. But watch these in the next couple of days. Even if we get a couple of warm days, which we're supposed to, this is going to unfurl and become a really tall, like 3-foot tall fern frond. And that's when it actually looks like the ostrich fern that you'd recognize. But for right now, they're starting to emerge out of the ground. Again, the groove on the inside and the papery material covering them is what helps you identify them as an ostrich fern. And the way you would prepare these is you'd snap it off after it had started to straighten out like this one. I'd probably let this grow for another day, and then steam them up, saute them like you would broccoli or spinach or asparagus, all of those. So ostrich fern at the fiddlehead stage. And you may have also seen yesterday I talked about bloodroot, and this is bloodroot that I have in my garden, but these flowers haven't opened up yet. So you guys already know that one.